If you build it, he will come. I'm John Renton with the retro view of Field of Dreams from 1989. One of the greatest sports movies ever made. Fight me in the comments. This was written and directed by Phil Alden Robinson, who would go on to do films like Sneakers, Freedom Song, as well as The Sum of All Fears. Who remembers The Sum of All Fears? He's done some other projects, he's written some other movies, but nevertheless, this is based on a novel by W.P. Kinsella and features Kevin Costner in one of his finest roles, Ray Liotta in one of his finest roles, James Earl Jones in one of his finest roles. Honestly, this movie is a fucking roller coaster of magic, whimsy, second chances, getting a chance to say goodbye. Shit. Well, I tried to make it into the review without tearing up. I always do when I watch this movie. I don't know why. If you've been living under a rock, by the way, and you don't know what Field of Dreams is, I mean, you need to just pause this review. You need to go watch it. Go watch it on a streaming service. Go buy it on Blu-ray. Just go order it on Amazon and come back to this review. Pause it. I'll wait. See, I told you it was fucking great. So, basically, Kevin Costner plays Ray, a farmer in Iowa living with his wife Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Annie, played by Amy Madigan, or Madigan, rather. I knew I was going to flip those letters around. Sorry, a little emotional about Field of Dreams, because it is still one of my favorite movies, especially a great movie to watch with your folks, or with your loved ones, or whoever you hold deep and close to you. So, Kevin, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why this gets to me so much. But anyway, he's an Iowa farmer. Let's just say bills are kind of piling up. But he decides, after hearing a voice in the cornfield saying, if you build it, he will come, to essentially clear off, restore, and make a baseball field. It's prime real estate, shall we say, so people want to get it. But then certain things start to happen, basically, that make this a true Field of Dreams. So for those that are baseball lovers, you likely have seen this movie at least once, possibly multiple times. This is, honestly, again, one of the finest sports movies I've ever seen, because it has tons of heart. It has tons of just great, they don't make movies like this anymore, as silly as that sounds. I mean, I was only 8 when this came out. I do remember seeing it on home video and really liking it, and I've grown to appreciate it as I've gotten into my 40s. But there are so many quotable lines. Great performance by James Earl Jones as Terrence Mann. Gabby Hoffman plays Karen, the daughter. She's good in this as well. Ray Liotta, this is often forgotten about, as far as, his mobster roles and stuff like that. There are people that talk about Field of Dreams, but it almost seems like this is an underappreciated role in his filmography. One of the last movies he did, of course, was Cocaine Bear. That's always a fun thing to go out on. And also Burt Lancaster is in this. Yes, Burt Lancaster himself. And Frank Whaley, and just a lot of really, really good performances in this. Also, it's a breezy hour and 45 minutes. And yes, PG, it's syrupy, it's silly, but it's something that you can absolutely enjoy. So the movie did cost around $15 million. And given star power, and actually given the fact that, they tried to capture the time period of when these dreams come true, so to speak. Okay, that's basically it for the non-spoilers section. Yeah, it's a bunch of baseball players that come back to life in this field to just play ball for the love of the game. Ray Liotta plays Shoeless Joe Jackson. The Black Sox scandal. Google it, kids. Takes too long to get into, basically. But he even says the line, getting thrown out of baseball was like having part of me amputated. He would have continued to play this game. It didn't matter. We did get, in the beginning, a montage of Ray's dad. Blaming now as a baseball player, shall we say, his time in the military. And a divide, shall we say, between father and son. He never got to meet his granddaughter. That factors into the finish a little bit later. But the movie did have a $15 million budget, which would be $38.8 million in today's money. Only opened with $531K, but that would be $1.3 million in today's money. $64.5 million U.S. Canada gross, and that'd be $166.8 million in today's money. $84.5 million worldwide, which would be $218.6 million. So, there's this talk of like Terrence Mann writing these like books that are considered smut or considered whatever, but you're in Iowa, you're in crackpot territory, shall we say, especially Terrence Mann's race and stuff like that. We don't like them their kind around here is what they might as well have said. There was a woman named Beulah. She hasn't been the same since she got pile driven in ECW. I kid, of course. And Terrence wrote a book basically where the hero was Ray's dad. And this all sets Ray off on like something after doing the thing with the baseball field, getting Ray Liotta, Shoeless Joe Jackson, other players showing up and everything, all these classic players. But they don't have enough to field a team in this Field of Dreams. Har. But they do get enough people, eventually, and we get this, great baseball, the classic baseball uniforms. I love the look of it. The cinematography is very well done. And they talk about Terrence Mann doing this microfiche, like searching and everything. That's right. We actually had to look up stuff in a library once, kids. We didn't have it on the internet. We had to look at old newspaper articles. What's a newspaper? Shut up, you youngster. Get off my lawn that I just freshly cut earlier today. They have crippling financial debt. There is Mark, played by Timothy Busfield. That's a name that should ring a bell for some people that are around my age. And his sister is Annie. And essentially they are just working. They're trying to work out a way to save the house, but they're going to turn that field into prime real estate, all this stuff, whatever. And Ray gets the bright idea to go see Terrence Mann, who is still alive. He's somewhere in Boston. And this is after talking to his wife about having the same dream at Fenway Park, where he's there with Terrence Mann for some reason. And the first line from James Earl Jones is just classic. Just, who the hell are you? I don't know why that gets me every time. It's so tremendous. So fucking good. And then they, Ray's trying to get in the house. Just want a minute of your time. It's a fanciful story, crazy story and stuff like that. But then they nearly get in a fight. And he says, "You're a pacifist." And he's like, shit. Even though he's given up on the life of trying to inspire people with his words and his, books and stuff like that, he decided, okay, he's just going to live a quiet life because he wants people to figure out stuff for themselves. He's kind of lost his mojo, shall we say, to be fair. Also, Terrence Mann had also done quite a bit of stuff, talked about, Nixon being reelected or being elected twice. And then Ray says, we're supposed to go to this ball game at Fenway Park, see this message, all this stuff. And they end up seeing something, but just before that, Terrence Mann said, I want people to figure out for themselves. I just want to live a quiet life. I gave my pain. I, dealt with my pain and did the best I could. I have no more pain for any of you. And there's a line, what do you want? So, all this stuff. No, what do you want? Ray's telling them because they're by the stand, the hot dog stand, stuff like that. For those of you that have seen the movie, you will understand these scenes. If you have not and you were expecting a linear timeline, you've come to the wrong place. Because I'm following beat for beat on some of these scenes, but it is what it is. Okay, so the baseball game didn't necessarily take. But even though Terrence tried to push it off, he actually did see the message. The message about various players, including one named Moonlight Graham, who only got to play at the very end of one season, didn't want to be sent back down to the minors, and decided to become a doctor. He died in 1972. He helped a lot of kids because even though his baseball career didn't work out, he found a way to inspire people another way. This is where Burt Lancaster came in. Magnificent performance, by the way. Tremendous pieces of dialogue. Recounting his life, saying sure he would have loved to have played, but he's happy doing what he did. And Ray's like, what if I told you that you could achieve that dream, just one time? I'd say I'm inclined to believe you. So, dreams brush on by, and sometimes you don't realize it. And that's true. That's the thing. Sometimes we got to go for our dreams, and other times our dreams are not meant to be. we can have dreams, and that doesn't make us failures if we don't go after all our dreams, or our dreams end up being something we can't fully attain. We tried. That's what matters. Not do or do not. There is no try. So, there was talk about how, Graham's wife, Alicia, loved the color blue. He had a bunch of blue hats in her, or in his office that he never got a chance to give her. And, again, great dialogue by Burt Lancaster. A lot of great scenes in this. And while driving back home, he's going to take Terrence back to Boston. Mind you, crippling financial debt. So he drives from Iowa to Boston, and then drives to Minneapolis to see Graham. And Terrence decides, well, I've come this far. I'm not going to go home. I'll go to Iowa. And he ends up calling his dad during a stay in a hotel. And, well, let's just say during a chat with Annie, it turns out that there's the foreclosure basically on the land because of crippling debt, all this. They don't have a single crop that they can sell, despite the fact that it looks like that field is fairly fertile, but whatever. And then there is a hitchhiker they pick up. And he talks about how, becoming a baseball player, they you got to get a day job, this kind of stuff, work hard, but they let you play baseball when you can. And his name is Archie Graham. Gee, I wonder who that is. Basically during a time when Archie's asleep, Ray ends up recounting to Terrence what he last said to his dad. His dad didn't get a chance to achieve his dream in baseball. He wanted Ray to do it. Ray started to rebel, especially at the age of 14. And his dad's hero was Shoeless Joe Jackson. And he said, I could never respect a man whose hero is, a criminal. Now, he actually wasn't a criminal, the Black Sox stuff, but nevertheless. That's the last thing he said to me. Gotta be careful with your words. And he even turned down playing catch with his dad and stuff like that. And who does that? And he actually said that it's because I read your book. It's like, oh, everybody blames me. It's not my fault. Stop playing catch with your dad. And they talk about various players that suddenly shown up and everything as they get back to the field. Now, Mark cannot see this stuff, by the way. That's a little bit important for the later. Wasn't able to see it before. Still not able to see it. Gil Hodges is there. Not Ty Cobb because they couldn't stand him at all. Har, 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 har. Ty Cobb, very famous baseball player, by the way. And then Archie's playing, getting a chance to actually play the game that he never got to fully play. Much of. At least on a big stage. And he kept getting the ball thrown at him. And, well, what do you think next pitch is going to be? It's either going to be low and away or in my ear. Well, he's not going to load the bases, so look for low and away. But watch out for in your ear. Tremendous, tremendous dialogue. Great baseball references there. And then, mind you, also one thing important for those, again, that haven't seen it. They can't leave, the field at all. They can go into the cornfield. We can wish them into the cornfield, but that's it. But Karen ends up saying, we don't have to sell the farm. People will come. And then, Terrence basically, in classic James Earl Jones, God, James Earl Jones is goosebump inducing in so many of his movies. They'll come to Iowa. They won't be sure why, but they'll line up on the road. They'll park here. They will watch the game. They will enjoy it. They will part with their money. And they will get to relive their youth, this kind of stuff, relive the glory days, all that. Great speech by James. Really, really sad how he passed. I mean, he lived a long goddamn life. I don't know how much longer he could have lived, but still. So during a bit of an argument, shall we say, there's some bleachers, some small bleachers that they're sitting on. Mark gets in an argument with Ray, and he's trying to calm this down, shall we say. And Karen ends up falling. And oh my God, Karen fell. Archie, mind you, is playing, can't leave the field, leaves the field, and he becomes Dr. Graham again. Helps her, hit on the back. coughs up the hot dog, that kind of stuff, and he can't go back. I mean, he can go back, but he can't go back to being his youthful self. It was a one-shot, one opportunity to seize the moment. Did you capture it or did you let it slip? You bet you didn't expect that reference. I sure didn't. But they said, hey, you did really, really good, Doc. You did really good, kid. Whew. I bet. Good job, Karen. You made the old man ruin his dream. No, I kid, of course. But I best be getting home so Alicia doesn't think that I got a girlfriend. He said that before. And then they did, the thing with Archie, all that. Good stuff. And then Mark sees all this and says, by the way, don't sell the farm because apparently there's some magical place now. And Shoeless Joe Jackson basically says to Terrence, hey, Terrence, come with us. Come see this place. Come see this. It could be a hell of a story, is what Terrence said. Ray can't go yet because it's not his time. Anyway, Ray's like, if you build it, he will come. Like, who? Like, his dad. That never got to live his dream. And ended up still raising a kid, but then he didn't get to say goodbye to him. So, yeah, some good stuff. And there was a line earlier, ease his pain. So there you are, ease his pain. That makes sense, if we're being perfectly honest. Because that's a weight to carry. He doesn't know him. Or maybe he does. And, yep, they're just, is this heaven? It's Iowa. Well, that doesn't exactly make sense. Because who would want to go to Iowa? I'm kidding, of course. There are some cool people in Iowa. I know like maybe 2. But, oh, there is a heaven and a lot of dreams come true. Hey, you want to play catch? I'd love that. How about that nice game of catch? And then we end with them playing catch. And then cars suddenly are lining up and on this road to their area to watch this game that they're going to pay for. Magic. Yeah. So Field of Dreams is really, really good. One of the best baseball movies ever made. One of the best sports movies. At least I'd argue. I mean, there's a lot of sports, but I'll put this up there. But, yeah, that's all. What did you guys think of Field of Dreams? Does it hold up to you? Do you think it's sappy? Do you think it's not as good as I think it is? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Renthlan. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.